The deal at the space market. The space market of Zereth Prime was loud, colorful, and dangerous. Thousands of species moved through the glowing stalls, speaking in dozens of strange languages. The air smelled like burnt wires and sweet fruit. Light. Signs blinked above shops, offering everything from plasma tools to frozen moonfish. In the middle of it all walked Cole, a human trader with tired boots and a half-broken backpack. He had one goal: find a cheap deal, sell it fast, and leave, before someone stole his socks. But then, he saw her. At a quiet corner of the market, an alien girl sat alone behind a small table. She was young, maybe his age, with soft violet skin and dark blue hair that shimmered like silk. Her golden eyes were sharp, but full of worry. She had a small cloth spread on the table with glowing blue crystals placed neatly on top. People walked past her without stopping. Cole paused. The crystals looked real. He stepped closer. "You selling those?" The girl looked up, startled. "Yes, pure sky shard, very rare. Good price." Cole raised an eyebrow. "Rare? Then why are you sitting here all alone?" She didn't answer. He looked around. No one else seemed to notice her. Something felt off. Cole leaned in. "You in some kind of trouble?" The girl hesitated, then shook her head. "No trouble. Just trying to sell before I leave planet." Looked at the crystals again, then at her tired eyes. She hadn't eaten, he could tell. "All right," he said. "I'll make you a deal." She blinked. "Deal?" "Yeah. I rent a small storage pod nearby. It has food, water, and a bed. You can rest there tonight. No rent, just split one sale with me later." The alien girl stared at him. Her eyes went wide. She choked on her words. What did you say?" She stammered. Cole frowned. "I said you can stay with me tonight for free. Just a quiet place to rest." Her face turned bright pink. She stood up so fast the table shook. You want me to share space with you? Alone?" she said loudly. People nearby turned to look. Cole held up his hands. "Whoa, calm down. I just meant—" "You shame me in public," she gasped, stepping back. Now more people were staring. A tall insectoid vendor whispered to his neighbor. A reptile alien smirked. "I didn't mean it like that," Cole said. "I wasn't trying to—" The girl suddenly grabbed her crystals, shoved them into a cloth bag and rushed away, leaving Cole alone, confused and completely embarrassed. Later, that evening, Cole sat on a crate in his storage pod eating cold noodles. That went well, he muttered to himself. He hadn't meant anything weird. He had just seen someone who needed help. But clearly something in his words had been misunderstood. Badly. Suddenly the door buzzed. He stood and opened it. There she was. The alien girl. Still holding the bag of crystals. Still blushing. I'm sorry, she said quietly. Cole blinked. "Wait, what?" "I misunderstood," she said, not meeting his eyes. "In my culture, asking to share private space with someone of opposite gender, it's like a bonding ritual." Cole stared. "You thought I was proposing to you?" Her face turned red again. It sounded like it. He scratched the back of his neck. "Wow, okay. Big cultural difference. Didn't mean it like that." She gave a small nod. "I believe you." There was a long silence. Then she said, "Still, your offer, does it stand?" He stepped aside. "Yeah. Come in. Just rest. No weirdness. I promise." She entered slowly, sat on a crate and sighed. "My name is Rava," she said softly. "Cole," he replied. Another silence. Then Rava whispered, "You made me feel something strange. No one has offered me kindness without price." Cole smiled. A little. "Maybe it's a human thing." She looked at him. "Maybe I need to learn more about humans." Outside, in the dark alley near the market, a figure watched the pod's location. He spoke into a hidden comm link. She's with a human. Confirmed. A reply crackled through. Do not approach yet. Let them feel safe. Then we take her. The figure nodded and vanished into the shadows. Her people don't do that. The lights inside Cole's small storage pod flickered weakly. The air smelled like metal and old wires, but to Rava it felt safer than the market. She sat on the edge of a crate, her crystal bag clutched in her lap. Cole handed her a protein bar. It's not fancy, but it won't kill you. Rava took it carefully. Thank you. There was a long silence. Then she looked at him and said, very seriously, My people don't do that. Cole raised an eyebrow. Don't do what? She looked down. We don't share space with strangers, especially not males. He sat across from her. So that's why you freaked out earlier. She nodded slowly. In my world, such an offer is personal, intimate. You speak it only to the one you choose to bond with. Cole blinked. And I just said it in the middle of a public market like I was offering snacks. She looked at him, eyes glowing faintly gold. You said it casually, but to me it meant everything. Cole rubbed his face. No wonder you almost choked. Rava gave a shy laugh. Cole smiled. Okay, let's reset. No bond, no romance, just a warm room, a locked door, and no expectations. Rava gave a tiny nod, agreed, but deep in her heart, something soft had already started. Outside, the shadowy figure returned. He pressed a small disc to the wall of the pod. It began recording every sound inside. Hours passed. Rava had finally eaten and now sat cross-legged, on a floor mat. Her boots were off, revealing slender violet feet with tiny silver markings. Cole noticed but said nothing. Rava broke the silence. Do humans have bonding traditions? Cole leaned back. Yeah, sort of. We date, talk, get close over time, then maybe something more. Sounds complicated. He grinned. Your way sounds terrifying. Rava looked down. Where I'm from, bonds are chosen at birth, but I refused mine. Cole leaned forward. You ran away? She nodded. I escaped during a transport. They wanted to force me into union with someone powerful, but cruel. She held up her hand. A small silver dot blinked in her palm. This is a locator mark. It was meant to track me until I agreed. Cole's eyes narrowed. Do they still follow you? She whispered. Always. Suddenly the lights flickered again. This time, longer. Warning beep echoed from the door control panel. Cole stood up instantly. Someone's trying to breach the lock. Rava leapt to her feet. Her hand went to her bag. They found me. Who? Cole asked. My people. Or the ones who own the bond I rejected. Outside, two dark armored figures stood ready with small energy blasters. One spoke in a harsh alien language. She's inside. We retrieve her quietly. But just as they moved forward, boom! A loud mechanical bang echoed from the side of the pod. A nearby drone exploded in sparks. Cole and Rava looked at each other. Backup plan? Cole asked. Rava smirked. No. That wasn't me. From across the alley, a third figure stepped out, covered in a cloak but holding a strange plasma bow. He fired once, straight into the air. A flare burst into the sky. The attackers hissed in anger. It's the exile. Rava froze. Cole pulled her close. What does that mean? She whispered. He's one of my kind, a protector once, cast out for defending someone like me. The dark-armored enemies turned and ran. The cloaked stranger did not chase. He simply nodded once, then vanished. Later that night, Rava sat quietly beside Cole, wrapped in a blanket. They won't stop, she said, even if we run again. Cole looked at her. So we don't run. She turned to him. Then what do we do? He reached over and gently pulled a small tracker from her palm. We find a way to end this, permanently. She stared at him, in silence. "Why are you helping me? You could have walked away." He smiled. "Because I'm human. And humans don't run from people who need help." Rava looked away, but not before he saw the soft blush on her cheeks again. In the shadows, far above on a ledge, the cloaked exile watched them. He touched a badge hidden beneath his armor. It glowed with the mark of Rava's bloodline. "They bonded without knowing it," he whispered. "She chose that and doesn't even realize yet." The customs officer's warning. The starport of Grell 9 buzzed with voices, engines, and the sharp metallic smell of star fuel. Cole and Rava walked through the wide entry hall with careful steps. She wore a deep hood and a silver scarf to cover her glowing markings. Cole carried both their bags, one hand always near his old blaster. They had one goal now: get off-world fast. A shuttle to Nerion Station was preparing to launch. It was neutral space, far from Rava's enemies, or so they hoped. Cole looked at the long line ahead. "We check in. No eye contact, no talking. Just walk and board. Got it?" Rava nodded. "Understood." They joined the queue. The customs scanner glowed blue as people passed through it one by one. Cole's heart beat faster with every step forward. Rava stayed close, but she looked nervous. Too nervous. Cole leaned in and whispered, "Relax. We've come this far." She didn't respond. Her hands were shaking under the cloth. Then it was their turn. The customs officer behind the desk was a middle-aged man with thin cybernetic eyes and a tired voice. "Next." Cole stepped up. "2 passengers for Nerion. Paid online." The man scanned their IDs. Then he paused. His fake smile faded. His cyber eyes flicked back and forth between the screen and Rava. "You?" he said quietly. Rava froze. Cole tensed. The officer leaned forward and in a very low voice said something that sent a chill down Cole's spine. "She's marked. And they know she's here." Cole's jaw tightened. "Who?" The man didn't look up. "I'm not supposed to say anything. They're watching me. Watching this whole sector. But I don't like what I've seen." Rava's voice was barely a whisper. "Are they already here?" The officer's hand slipped a small data chip under the desk, pushing it toward Cole. "Take this," he said quietly. "Get to Dock 7. Do not board the public shuttle. They'll be waiting." Cole grabbed the chip and slipped it into his pocket. "Why help us?" The officer gave a tired sigh. "Because 20 years ago someone helped me escape a contract I didn't choose. Maybe this is my turn." Then he stamped their travel papers loudly and said in a robotic voice, "Next." Cole and Rava stepped away quickly, heading toward the far corridor. As they walked, Cole whispered, "You all right?" Rava didn't answer. He looked at her. Her face was pale. Then she said, "The mark. It must have activated again. Someone with a high-level reader must have scanned me." He frowned. "Can we remove it?" She shook her head. "It's in my blood. It was made to bind me permanently to a political union. When I ran, I thought I left it behind." Cole stopped her. "You didn't do anything wrong, Rava. They did." Her voice trembled. "They won't care. To them, I'm property." Cole clenched his fists. "Not anymore." They reached Dock 7. It was dark, almost empty. The ship there was small, old, and unregistered. Cole slipped the chip into the door. Panel. It flashed green. Unlocked. As they entered, a low mechanical voice said, "Welcome, passengers. Autopilot engaged. Destination locked. Nerion Station. Departure in 4 minutes." Cole looked around. "It's a ghost ship. No crew." Rava smiled faintly. "That's good. Less risk." But just as they began to settle inside, a beep echoed from the console. "Incoming vessel. Unauthorized." Cole ran to the screen. A small black transport was heading straight for them. He cursed. "They're not giving up." Rava grabbed a tool from the wall. "Then we don't stop either." Cole activated the ship's lift engines. "Strap in." As the ship rose, red warning lights flashed. The black vessel opened its cargo bay. A hover drone launched, fast and armed. The autopilot shouted, "Incoming fire!" The ship shook as a plasma shot hit the left wing. Rava fell against Cole and he caught her. "We can't outrun them," she shouted. "Then we outsmart them." Cole flipped 2 switches and dived the ship downward, low and hard toward the canyons below Grell 9's surface. The pursuing drone followed. Rava moved to the back and activated the manual turret. Her hands glowed as she gripped the controls. She fired once. The drone exploded in a ball of light. They reached orbit 10 minutes later, damaged but safe. Cole looked over at Rava. She was quiet, but a strange light was in her eyes. "You protected me," she said. "I said I would." She looked away, blushing again. "Even when I nearly choked and accused you in the market?" He laughed. "Especially then." She turned to him. "Cole, I have something to show you." She lifted her sleeve. On her wrist, a soft blue glow had appeared, a symbol in the shape of a spiral flame. "What is it?" he asked. She looked at him with serious eyes. "It's called a bond mark. In my culture, it only activates when a person's heart accepts another, even before the mind understands." His heart skipped. "And you're saying, it lit up now?" She nodded slowly. "When you stood between me and them, without asking for anything." Cole swallowed. "Rava, does that mean—" But before she could answer, the ship console beeped again. "Incoming message. Unknown source." Cole pressed the button. A hologram appeared, a tall alien in royal armor. He spoke coldly. "You have taken what belongs to the House of Varan. Return her, or the stars will burn for you." The night of shared silence. The asteroid base floated in the cold, dark space like a broken tooth. It was an old mining station, long abandoned. No lights, no signals, only a weak energy pulse that kept the oxygen flowing, the kind of place smugglers or fugitives used to hide. Cole landed the ship in Dock Bay 3. He looked over at Rava. Her eyes were tired, her shoulders slumped. She had been quiet since the hologram message. The warning still echoed in both their minds. Return her, or the stars will burn for you. Inside the base, everything was dark and dusty. Cole found a small maintenance room with working lights and air. There were 2 chairs, one old mattress, and a rusted heater. "It's not home," he said, "but it's safe. For now." Rava gave a small nod. "Thank you." She sat down slowly, pulling the blanket around her shoulders. Cole handed her a cup of hot nutrient broth. They sat in silence. After a while, Cole asked softly, "You okay?" Rava looked at the floor. "I don't know." He didn't speak. He just waited. Then she said, "All my life I was told who I had to be, what I had to do. My choices were made for me, who to bond with, where to live, how to smile. And when I finally ran away, I thought I was free." Cole looked at her gently. "But you're still running." She nodded. "And now, I'm not the only one in danger." Cole leaned forward. "Listen to me, Rava. I didn't help you because I had to. I chose to, and I'd do it again." Her eyes met his. "But why? You barely know me." He smiled a little. "Sometimes, knowing someone is in pain is enough." Her lips parted slightly, surprised by his honesty. Then she said, "In my culture, we don't talk like this." "Like what?" "With feelings." Cole chuckled. "Humans are kind of addicted to it." Rava gave the smallest laugh. Later that night, the heater crackled softly. Cole sat near the door, keeping watch. Rava lay on the mattress, curled under the blanket, but neither of them could sleep. Rava whispered, "That symbol on my wrist, it hasn't faded." Cole looked at her. "The bond mark?" She nodded. "It usually disappears after a few hours unless—" He waited. unless the feeling grows stronger. His heart beat faster. Rava. She sat up slowly. The blanket slipped from her shoulders. She looked into his eyes. I don't know if this is real, or just safety making me feel this way. But when you stood beside me today, I didn't feel alone. I felt protected. I felt like I belonged. Cole didn't speak for a moment. Then he said quietly, You do belong. And not just to anyone, to yourself. Her eyes glistened. She reached out and placed her hand over his. Silence. Warmth. No words were needed. But peace never lasted long. A red light blinked on Cole's portable scanner. Ship detected. Unknown signature. Approaching fast. He stood up fast. They found us. Rava grabbed her gear. Then we leave. Cole frowned at the screen. Too late. They're blocking the exit. The scanner showed a small elite ship, fast and armed. No calls, no warnings, just coming. Rava looked at him. Then we fight? He shook his head. We hide deeper. You rest. I'll deal with them if they breach. Rava touched his arm. We face them together. No more running. No more silence. As they moved into the inner tunnels of the base, the outer doors creaked. The enemy had arrived. But this time, Rava didn't shake. She didn't hide. She held her small plasma dagger with steady hands, and Cole, his sword ready, stood beside her like a wall. In the stillness, she whispered, What if we don't make it? He looked at her. Then I'll die proud. Why? Because I got to meet you. Her cheeks flushed again, bright and glowing. Then she smiled. And the silence between them felt like something beautiful. They want her back. Now the walls of the asteroid base trembled. Dust fell from the ceiling. Somewhere above, metal screamed as if it were being torn open. Cole checked his blaster. Fully charged. Rava gripped her plasma dagger tight. Her hands didn't shake this time. They're here, Cole said. Rava nodded. I can feel them. My blood recognizes their presence. Footsteps echoed down the long corridor. Slow, steady, heavy. Cole pulled Rava behind a wall panel and whispered, We take them by surprise. She looked at him. No. We draw them into the narrow tunnel, one at a time. He paused, then smiled. Smart. They moved silently through the shadowed halls. At the outer entrance, 3 armored figures entered. Their helmets glowed red. The tallest one scanned the room. Target confirmed. Life signs match. The girl is inside. One of them growled. Do we take the human too? The leader replied coldly. Only if he resists. Otherwise, eliminate him. Cole and Rava waited in the narrow mining shaft. Breath held. The first enemy stepped into the tunnel. Rava moved first. She slid down silently, spinning behind him. Her dagger struck the joint of his armor right at the neck. The lights in his helmet blinked, then faded. He fell with a loud clang. The second enemy rushed in. Cole rolled forward and fired. His blaster shot hit the enemy's chest. Sparks flew. But the armor held. The soldier raised a stun staff. They fought close, swing for swing. Cole blocked twice, then ducked and hit the soldier with the back of his blaster. He dropped. The third enemy was smarter. He stayed out of the tunnel and shouted, Rava, daughter of House Varan, you belong to the High Blood Pact. Return now and we will not destroy the base. Rava stepped forward. Her voice rang out clear. I am no one's property. The soldier snarled. You wear the mark. It proves you were chosen. She held up her glowing wrist. This mark belongs to me now, and I've chosen him. The soldier raised a grenade. Cole grabbed Rava and pulled her back, just as the blast shook the walls again. Sparks flew. The lights went out. In the smoke, Cole lifted his sword and ran forward. The soldier met him halfway. Blades clashed. Metal screamed. Rava threw her dagger, striking the soldier's leg. He stumbled, That gave Cole the opening he needed. One clean strike. The last attacker fell. Silence returned. Both of them stood breathing hard, covered in dust, bruised, but alive. Cole leaned against the wall. So much for a quiet night. Rava walked over and placed a hand on his shoulder. You saved me. Again. He looked at her. You saved me too. They sat together against the wall. She reached out, touching the glowing symbol on her wrist. It's fully formed now, she whispered. He looked at her hand. The soft blue spiral was shining like fire in the dark. She met his eyes. This means our bond is now permanent. If we both accept it. Cole's voice was low. And do you? Rava smiled softly. I do, he whispered. So do I. Far above, another ship received a signal. A hidden watcher had been listening to everything. He played back the audio recording, Rava's words, Cole's vows. Then he opened a channel. They're stronger than we thought. The bond is real. We need to change our approach, a deep voice replied. Then bring her to the negotiation table. If love makes her strong, we will use it against her. Back on the base, Rava and Cole stared out of the old observation window. Stars stretched across the black sky like a river of light. She leaned her head on his shoulder. For the first time in her life, she felt safe. Cole looked down at her, heart full. But in the stars, something darker was coming. Something bigger than both of them. The truth about her bond mark. The asteroid base was quiet now. After the fight, Cole and Rava had sealed the doors and powered down all signals. No one could trace them. No one could hear them. For a moment, space was silent. They sat in the center room, facing each other. A small heater crackled between them. Cole cleaned a cut on his shoulder while Rava stared at the mark glowing on her wrist. It looked like a small spiral flame, simple, beautiful, and strange. Cole finally broke the silence. You said it's permanent now, this bond mark? Rava nodded slowly. Yes. Tell me what it really means, he asked. No holding back this time. She looked up, eyes soft. It's not just a symbol, Cole. It's a binding of soul to soul. He frowned. Like marriage? She shook her head. More than that. When a Varelian like me accepts someone, not just with her mind, but with her whole heart, the mark activates, it connects both people. Cole looked down at his own hand. There was no mark. I don't have one, he said quietly. You do, Rava said. You just can't see it yet. He blinked. Wait, what? She leaned forward. The mark is emotional. It forms based on actions, not blood. When you risked your life for me again and again, when you chose to stay, my bond mark responded. And now your energy is linked to mine. Cole sat back slowly, trying to absorb it. Okay. So now what happens? Rava took a breath. If we stay together, the bond will grow stronger. We'll sense each other's moods, pain, even danger. It's like we become one in spirit, he looked at her seriously. And if we separate, her voice dropped, then it will break both of us. Cole froze. That serious? Rava nodded. My ancestors believed the bond was sacred, not to be forced. That's why it scares the people who want to control. Me, Cole leaned closer. But you accepted it. That means you chose me. She looked at him, eyes shining. Yes, I chose you. Before he could answer, a beeping noise broke the quiet. Cole jumped up and ran to the console. A private message had arrived. No location, no ID, just a voice, the same deep voice from before. Rava of House Varan. You claim freedom, you claim love, then prove it. Rava stood beside him, shocked. They found us again. The message continued. Come to the Nexus, Summit, alone. If you truly want to end this, if you want peace, we offer a negotiation. Bring the human if you dare. Then silence. Cole looked at her. This feels like a trap. Rava nodded. It is, but I have to go. He stepped back. Why? She whispered. Because if I don't, they will hunt us forever. They will destroy anyone who helps us, even you. Cole stared at her. I don't care. Let them come. She reached out and touched his face. But I care, she said. Then, she stepped away, tears forming in her eyes. I need to end this with my voice, not a blade. That night, Cole stood alone on the observation deck. He watched the stars, thought about the fights, the laughs, the quiet moments with Rava, her voice, her smile, her strength. He didn't know when it had happened, but somewhere along the way, he had fallen for her. Back in her room, Rava stared at her bond mark. Then, she pulled a small silver cube from her bag. It was old, engraved with symbols from her homeworld. She pressed a button. A hologram of a younger Rava appeared, laughing, dancing in a garden. Behind her, a tall alien man stood watching with cold eyes. Rava whispered to herself, Father, I will never be what you wanted. I found something better. I found someone who saw me. She crushed the cube in her hand. The image disappeared. Suddenly, alarms blared. Cole ran to the door. What happened? Rava's voice echoed from the hallway. We're being pulled by a tractor beam. They reached the control room. The screen showed a massive ship, black, long, and filled with light. It had no markings. It moved like a ghost in space. It's not a warship, Rava said. It's the Royal Transport. Cole narrowed his eyes. Then they're serious. The message repeated, come to the summit, or we come to you. Rava turned to Cole. This is my last chance to speak, to be heard. He looked at her. Then I'm coming with you. She smiled. You know they'll try to tear us apart. He held up his hand. Let them try. A proposal of her own, the royal ship floated like a black palace in space. Its halls were silent. Walls of crystal and metal glowed faintly. Every step echoed like a drumbeat. Cole walked beside Rava, dressed in plain clothes but holding the sword she had once gifted him during their escape. Rava wore a long robe of silver and blue, the official colors of her bloodline. They entered the main chamber. Inside stood over 20 figures, nobles, diplomats, warriors, and the elder prime of House Varan. His eyes were cold, his voice colder. You returned, he said to Rava. We did not expect it. Rava held her chin high. You said you wanted peace. I came to listen, but I didn't come alone. The elder's gaze shifted to Cole. A human, he muttered. You bring shame. Rava stepped forward. I bring truth. You speak of peace, but what you wanted was control. I left because I refused a forced bond, and now I have formed one by choice. She raised her wrist. The bond mark glowed. Gasps filled the chamber. This is no trick, she said. This is real. The elder's face darkened. You bring dishonor to the house, but we are willing to forgive. If you end this bond now. Cole stepped forward. She doesn't want your forgiveness. A tense silence filled the room. Then Rava did something no one expected. She turned to Cole, dropped to one knee, and said, Will you bond with me? By my words, not just the mark? Cole's eyes widened. Rava, she smiled. Not because we're hunted, not because we're scared, but because I love you and I choose you again. Cole dropped to his knees in front of her. He gently touched her face. I was waiting for you to say that. Then, in front of all the powerful lords and warriors, he kissed her, soft, true, and fearless. The elder stood. This cannot be allowed. Suddenly, a new voice echoed from the hall. It was the exile, the cloaked warrior who had helped them before. He stepped into the chamber, removing his hood to reveal silver eyes. I speak as former Blade of Varan, he said, and I witnessed their bond. If we deny what is real, then we have already lost our honor. Other nobles began to murmur. Some nodded. Others looked uncertain. Then one by one, hands were raised. They would not fight this bond. They would recognize it. Hours later, on the balcony of the royal ship, Rava and Cole stood hand in hand. Below them, ships from across the sectors hovered, news of their union spreading like wildfire. For the first time, a human had been accepted as the bonded partner of a royal alien bloodline, and it hadn't happened through war, but love. Rava leaned her head on Cole's shoulder. "Do you realize what we just did?" she whispered. He smiled. "Made peace, and made history." She giggled softly, and made the elder almost faint. They both laughed. Then Cole looked at her with a quiet smile. "I never expected this when I met you at the space market. And I never expected a human would turn my world upside down." They kissed under the stars, but far away in the dark edge of space, a masked figure watched the news on a flickering screen. "They broke the old rules," he said. "Good. Let's see how they survive the new ones." He turned off the screen and began preparing his army.